Previously on Unscripted.
So we were 13 or 14, right? In that year, in 84, right?
Okay, if you say so.
What do you mean if I say so? It's math.
You're listening to Unscripted with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Okay, Skip, today we're going to talk about our favorite movies from 1994. But before we get to that, I have been dying to tell you a story, and this really, really bugs me.
You're kidding me? Boy, are you bugging me, man? I'm gonna nail. Ooh, God. I'm getting bugged now. Whoa, man.
After I'm done, I want you to tell me if I'm overreacting and it shouldn't bug me at all.
Okay. I know you really wanted to tell this story. I have no idea what it is. But last time we recorded, you said, I have a really good what bugs me. He goes, but I really want to finish my jury duty story. So, you put this on hold for, another episode. So let's hear it.
I did put it on hold, and I purposely didn't tell you about it because I want you to get the full effect today.
The full effect, sure. Let's go for it.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, I went to Shoppers Drug Mart. I think it's called Pharmaprix in your province.
Correct, yes.
And I bought a $100 gift card for Esso.
Oh my God. I think I know where this is going. Okay, continue.
And I didn't buy this to give as a gift to somebody. I bought it for myself.
Okay.
And it's a good thing I bought it for myself because when I went to Esso the next day to use the gift card, it didn't work.
I've read, the reason why I said I think where this is going is because I've read recently a bunch of scams happening with gift cards from Pharmaprix / Shoppers Drug Mart.
Okay, I didn't hear about this, but I'm not buying this off some guy on the street. I'm buying it at a legitimate store. It shouldn't be a scam, correct?
There's scammers that are doing something with the cards. I honestly, I didn't even understand what it is. But continue. Let's hear what happened.
So anyway, luckily I didn't give it as a gift. I tried to use it myself. It didn't work. So the guy at Esso says there's nothing he can do and I have to go back to Shoppers. So this is the first thing that bugged me because I don't want to go back. But I don't have a choice. And by the way, I had to pay for my fuel that day with my own money, not with the gift card.
But why did you buy a gift card for yourself?
Thank you for asking. Because the day that I purchased the gift card, PC was giving PC...
it's PC Optimum, right?
I don't even know what the PC stands for, but they were giving 10,000 bonus points if you buy this gift card.
Okay, so you just got the points, and it's the same thing as filling up anyways. You're going to use them.
Right. So now I have to go back to Shoppers. So I went back to Shoppers literally 5 minutes later, and I said, look, I bought this yesterday. It didn't work. I would like a refund.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to call the manager of the store, and she says to me, we can't give refunds on gift cards. So second thing that bugged me now, two things.
Mm-hmm.
And she says to me that I need to call customer service. So this, even before she said another word, I was already annoyed because you know as well as I do, I'm going to call customer service and I'm going to be on hold for who knows how long.
Did they activate the card? Because I know that's what's supposed to happen, right?
I don't know what they did. I have the receipt that shows that I purchased it.
But it's usually the store's, because it's usually the store's responsibility to actually activate that card at the cash. It's not one thing to just take it and then,
Correct.
Know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah.
In any case, she says we can't give you a refund. I have to call customer service. So this was very frustrating for me. And I said to her, this is not good customer service because when I purchased the gift card, I paid you immediately. So now when I want a refund for the gift card, I should get my refund immediately.
Yeah, and you're not refunding it because you just don't want it anymore. It doesn't work.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's nothing she could do. She gave me the phone number. I had to call customer service. So I called customer service an hour later.
This should be fun.
And I was on hold for a while. I don't know how long. And this guy comes on the phone. And all he does really, I tell him what happened. And all he's doing is asking me a bunch of questions. He wants to know my name, my email address. He wants to know my PC Optimum number. He sends me an email. He says, take a photo of the front and the back of the gift card and take a photo of the receipt and reply to my email and send it to me.
Right.
So he doesn't solve any problem at all. He just asks me a bunch of questions. And I said to him the same thing that I said to the person at the store. I want a refund and I want it immediately. And he's like, there's nothing I can do right now. I said, well, transfer me to somebody that can. He's like, we're not able to transfer calls. I don't know if that's even true, but that's what he said.
It has to be impossible.
So he takes all the information. He says, I'll get back to you via email in 7 to 10 days. And like,
What?
7 to 10 days to me seems ridiculous. I was so annoyed. I'm calm now, but I was not calm when this was happening. I get an email from him actually, I think 48 hours later.
Okay.
Now, before I even tell you what's in the email, him and I went back and forth for days, multiple days. And the only way I could communicate with him was via email.
Right. Just replying above the line every time, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
If I tried to call, which I did once, there's no way I'm going to get the same person. No chance. So, always via email. And the other frustrating thing is, every time he would reply to my email, his email would be like a brand new email. It would not show what I had typed earlier.
That's so stupid.
So like I can't, if I need to then somehow prove what I said, yesterday, it's nowhere to be found. Luckily, I kept all my sent emails, but
Of course.
whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going back and forth.
Can I ask you, is the person you spoke with, are they like offshore or is it in Canada?
No, I think they're in Canada, actually.
Okay.
So he writes me, he says, we're not able to activate your gift card. And I don't even know why he mentioned that, because all I wanted was my money back at this point. I didn't want him to activate the gift card. I knew that it didn't work, and I didn't have any hope that it would ever work.
Right.
So we're prepared to offer you one of the following. Either another gift card, which I definitely don't want,
I mean, that's not the worst solution. I mean, yeah.
or 100,000 PC points, which to them is equivalent to $100.
Okay.
But to me, that's not the same thing because I can only use that at one of their stores.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. I said, no, I don't want either of those. I want my money back.
Right.
He writes back again the next day, and he would only write one email a day. Even if I wrote back to him at 10 in the morning, I wouldn't get a response from him until the next day.
Yeah.
So he writes back, we can't give you your money back. We can offer you one of the following. So again, this time is 3 choices. One was another gift card. One was 100,000 points. And the other one was, we can mail you a check, but it's going to take us 4 weeks to process the check and then another 4 weeks before you get it in the mail. So that's 8 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said, no, I don't want any of those 3 options. I want my money back.
Well, okay. Yeah.
I could have accepted one of those offers.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm trying to make his life a little bit difficult because he has made my life difficult.
Got it. Sure.
So then he writes back, we can't offer your money back. These are the only options. I said, okay, if these are the only options, then here's what I want. I want 100,000 points because that's what I paid for the gift card. And then because you have caused me so much aggravation, I want another 100,000 points.
You're extorting them.
They are a major corporation. There's no way they should not be able to put a refund on my credit card. They are a merchant. They do this all the time.
You're 100% right. I mean, that this is a problem is that the guy you're talking to is not the merchant. The merchant is where you went in the first place. That should have put it back on that should have given you the refund. But because of their stupid rules, they're like, no, call customer service. That's ridiculous. So did you extort them for extra points or what?
He writes back and he says, here's what we can do. I'm going to give you 100,000 points. Plus, as a one-time goodwill gesture, we're going to give you an additional 10,000 points. I wrote back and I said the same thing I said in the previous email. No, I want 100 plus another 100,000 points.
I love this whole story because you're so unreasonable.
So then the next day I get an email from him and it's not making me an offer. It's not accepting what I had said. It's I'm happy to let you know that we have deposited 100,000 points into your account. Plus, as a one-time goodwill gesture, we have given you an additional 20,000 points.
They didn't even offer you that, but they just did it.
Correct. They didn't even acknowledge what I had said in my previous email. So it's done now. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I guess I could open up a new case and complain again because I don't like the way I was treated. I don't like the way the situation was handled. Yes, I did end up with 120,000 points. I mean, really, the 100,000 was mine to begin with because I paid $100 for that gift card. Yeah. So I get an extra 20,000 points. But again, I can only use that at one of their stores.
But the thing is, you were going to get an extra 10,000 points in the first place.
I already got that.
So if they would have refunded you your $100, you would have still banked the 10,000 points.
Well, maybe they would have been smart enough to deduct the 10,000 points that they gave me. I don't know.
So what are you going to do with 20,000 points?
I don't even know. It's in my, what can I get with 20,000 points? You tell me.
A chocolate bar and an ST? I don't know. I don't think points go very far, no?
Well, 100,000 points is $100 off my grocery bill. Or
okay, so that's good then.
And 20,000 points is $20 off my grocery bill.
Right. Okay.
And I don't have to use it all in one transaction. And sometimes, I don't know, are you a PC Optima member?
I am, yeah.
Sometimes they offer you these things like you can buy AirPods with your points.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. AirPods must be like 1 million points for all, and who knows?
Well, that's a good story, Josh.
So anyway, you can tell me if I overreacted. You can tell me if I'm legitimately annoyed. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me.
Your level of annoyance is accurate. Like, I would be incredibly annoyed. And I have to go back and find the article about the scams on the gift cards at Pharmaprix. And I don't remember what the whole circumstance was. And there's they have a reason why they don't refund at the stores. It's because of scammers. So that way the customer service has to verify everything, you know? It's because there's some scams going on with the cards. I think people actually go in the stores and clone the cards. And then when they clone the cards, that number, like the card number that you had, your gift card, it's used at another store. And then when you buy the actual one, it's no good anymore. I think that's what's going on.
Now that you're telling me this, if I ever do buy another gift card, I should go to the back. You know how they're all on a little rack?
Yeah,
I
maybe.
should go to the one at the back and take that one because chances are no one went all the way there to clone that one.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. But again, I have to go back and look at and try to find the article that I read. Anyways, I think your level of annoyance is justified. The thing is ridiculous. Like, obviously, ESO can't help you. They can't help. No one can help you until you talk to some guy who can't help you either. But I do think you were trying to extort them a little bit too much. Like I probably would have just accepted their, like, give me my money, like, give me the points back. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm glad I got an additional 20,000 points.
Yeah, very good. Good for you. It's worth your troubles.
I guess so. Okay, we'll be right back after this to talk about our favorite movies from 1994.
You're listening to Unscripted.
I'm Joseph DeMedictis.
And I'm Ross Citrullo.
And we're doing this podcast so we don't have to go home and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're doing it to tell you about our pursuit of the dreams we've had since being a kid, being young, trying to get into the entertainment industry. Us, we're mid-career, sort of. We're kind of halfway broken in a way, but we both have these big dreams and big goals.
Aspirations, really.
For our careers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This podcast is about the journey through the industry, trying to make it, but trying not to have to give up.
So listen to our podcast on all the places you might listen to a podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own YouTube channel where you can watch the video version. All the links can be found at you'llnevermakeit.ca. Here's hoping we do.
And now, back to Unscripted.
Okay, Skip, we're back.
So last episode we did our favorite movies from 1984, where a listener suggested that, it might be the best year for movies because it was her favorite year for movies. We did come up with some real good movies that we liked, and our lists were extremely similar. So obviously in 84, we had similar tastes in movies. And then I started thinking, like, what are the other really good movie years? And without looking up the names of the movies, I just looked up, like, what are other great years for movies? And 94 came up. And then I suggested it to you, and then I think you probably took like a cursory glance at some of the movies, and not you didn't even.
Nope, I had no clue what movie came out in 94 when I agreed to do this.
Okay, because we texted, and I thought maybe you looked at a list and said, "Yeah, I'm okay with that," because you saw some right away that you liked. But that's not even what happened. That's amazing. So I didn't do that either. I just figured, okay, we're gonna pick this year, and I'm sure it's gonna be fine. There's definitely like something. But
You know that 94 was my favorite year for music. You know that.
I know, we know about that. So what I didn't expect is that the movies in my 5, it's really strong. Like these are some. I don't know if we're gonna have the same, but I have very, very strong list.
I also was very surprised at all the good movies that came out in 94.
Yeah.
In fact, I ended up, I think I had 10 and I had to shrink it down, or 12 even, and I had to shrink it down to 5.
Right.
So it was not a problem finding 5 good movies. And based on what happened last time we recorded, I have a feeling we're going to have some the same.
Well, look, I know we have one the same. That I can like guarantee, and like I'm almost sure about what your number 1 is. Like I'm positive in fact, but after that, I'm not sure if we're gonna have any the same or maybe all. Like honestly, it could be identical lists, but like I know one is guaranteed, but like that's for sure. And the rest, I'm not 100% sure. But like I do feel like our lists are going to be similar. And this is really funny because when we do music stuff, the lists never match up.
Well, if we did 94, it would be closer than if we did 2026.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
And by the way, the one that you're sure we're going to have the same, don't be surprised if it's not my number 1.
Really? All right. Well, very interesting. So before we start the top 5, I'm going to do the same thing as I did last time. I'm going to tell you in the 1995 Academy Awards, which were the movies from 94, the best picture was Forrest Gump.
Okay.
The best actor was Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. The best actress, Jessica Lange in Blue Sky. No idea what that movie is.
Me neither.
And the best song was Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John from The Lion King.
Number 5.
So number 5 for me, and this is the only one that you might not have on your list, Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
Okay, I'm laughing.
So anyway, I realized that like they made sequels to this movie and the sequels were not good, but Speed, the first one, I actually really liked this movie. Like it's an action movie. It's a fun action movie. The director is Jan de Bont. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name properly, but I think he has directed many action movies. I think he might have even directed Beverly Hills Cop, if I'm not mistaken. This is just...
You may be right about that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just guessing now. I haven't done any research here. Dennis Hopper was also in the movie. Jeff Daniels was also in the movie. So just to give people... So I'm assuming that everyone's seen the movie. I shouldn't assume that. So basically, there's an extortionist, and he rigs a Los Angeles city bus to explode if the speed drops below 50 miles per hour. So then, you know, the people on the bus, the driver, the passengers, they have no idea that there's a bomb on this bus. And so then Keanu Reeves finds out, and I guess he's a cop or I don't know if he's a bomb.
Yeah. No, he's a cop. Yeah.
Expert. Sandra Bullock happens to be on the bus as a passenger. And, so then the bus cannot stop. Like they can't go below 50 miles per hour, but soon it's going to hit traffic and it's going to have to stop. So I think they exit the highway, they go to an airport, and they just drive around the airport in circles until finally Keanu Reeves is able to like get everyone off the bus. And it's pretty cool how he does it. I'm not going to get into all the details. But I did read that Sandra Bullock, she actually had to learn how to drive a bus for this movie. And apparently she passed her test on the first attempt.
That's good. I mean, it was really Sandra Bullock's like breakout, right? Like
I never heard of her before, but
yeah. So based on your pick, I think we're going to have a lot the same. But We'll get there. All right, so number 5 for me, and what I believe is number 1 for you, is Clerks. So this is the first Kevin Smith's really first movie. It was independently filmed. I think they filmed it for $10,000 or they filmed it for $27,575. That's how much it cost to make this film. And although there has been Clerks 2 and Clerks 3, which you would say this is the Clerks trilogy, I know you and me and many other fans of Kevin Smith acknowledge that the actual trilogy is Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy. This is the original kind of Kevin Smith. I don't know what it's called. I actually tried to see if there's a name for it, but I couldn't really find it.
And,
for me, that's the original
you purchased the Mallrats VHS tape for me as a gift one year. I still have it.
I think it's still in your VCR.
It might be.
So if anybody wants to know what Clerks is, it's just about two guys. It's black and white, first of all, the movie. It's two guys. One works in like a convenience store. The other guy works in the video store in this little mini mall. And it's just about like the weird stuff that happens during the day when like the customers come in, their friends come in, all kinds of crazy stuff happens. It's where we're first introduced to the characters, Jay and Silent Bob. Silent Bob is Kevin Smith. They were in mostly all the Kevin Smith movies, if you see them. It is really a funny movie. It's a very clever movie. I know you love it. Like personally, I like Mallrats better. I just felt like it's a bigger budget version of this in a way. But just to read you like the quote, like I said, it was filmed for $27,000. Miramax bought the rights. They spent $230,000 on licensing and editing. And then the film made $4.4 million. And then it's still regarded as like the landmark film of independent filmmaking is what I read. And it's actually in the Library of Congress of culturally, historically, aesthetically significant, film. And then, of course, the big catchphrase from the movie, from Dante, the main character, "I'm not even supposed to be here today."
I love it.
So that's Clerks.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me, Quiz Show. This is about a scandal. I don't even know what year it was. It's in the 60s, I think.
I think it's the 50s or 60s.
Right,
Yeah.
where apparently quiz shows were rigged, that the contestants were given answers ahead of time. And there was one contestant who didn't want the answers because he thought he could do it on his own, and he could, but this one cop who was investigating this, I think they took him down anyway, even though he said, "Look, I never asked for the answers. I never wanted the answers. I thought I could do this on my own, and I could have done it on my own." And apparently it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So I should tell you some of the actors that are in this movie: Ralph Fiennes, John Turturro, Rob Morrow, David Paymer, Hank Azaria, Mira Sorvino, Paul Guilfoyle, Griffin Dunn, Timothy Busfield.
It's a great cast. It's a great cast, yeah.
It really is. It really is.
It's a really good movie.
And I haven't seen it in such a long time, I should go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But this I found interesting. So before they began filming, Ralph Fiennes wanted to speak with Charles Van Doren, the person who was one of the contestants who was given the answers in advance. But they just assumed that Van Doren wouldn't want to talk to anybody about this. So Fiennes and like some other person working on the movie drove to this rural Connecticut town where Van Doren lives. And they happened to find him sitting outside his house. And they just went up to him and pretended to be lost and asked for directions so that they could hear how he spoke.
That's so cool. So I have a quiz show is in my honorable mentions. And I'm thankful that we're not going to have 5 the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4 for me is Speed. That's why when you said like, I don't know if this is going to be in your list, I'm like, oh, well, okay, here we go. Like as you mentioned, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper. It was Sandra Bullock's big breakout. Like she got very, very popular after this movie. Kind of launched her career. I mean, I don't need to go into the details of the movie. Like you mentioned, the bus can't go below 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers per hour, if you want to get the Canadian equivalent.
Thank you.
The one part that's ridiculous of the movie is, so you sit, like as you mentioned, the bus has to keep going 50 miles per hour, and then they're going to be in traffic. So at first they're like, okay, let's get the bus on the freeway, and the cops will clear the freeway, like, and you can just go straight. So then they're driving, and then Keanu Reeves is like on his like walkie-talkie or whatever, and he's telling like his boss like there's a gap in the freeway, like there's construction that's not finished, so like the roads don't match up, if you recall. So this is why the movie is called Speed, right? Because what does he do? He tells Sandra Bullock to like accelerate as fast as she can, and miraculously they jump the gap, right? Which is like it's
I do
like
remember
so
that now that you mention it. Thank you.
it's just like so ridiculous. But I mean, it's like you said, this is an action movie, and like you can suspend, like reality and just go with what they're showing you, and like it's fine. It's a movie, right? So this movie was huge success. It made like over $200 million internationally, 300 I think even, and it was only made for like estimated between 30 and $37 million. So it was a huge hit. And yeah, that's Speed. I really love the movie, and it's like the kind of movie that like if it's on TV, like I will watch it again and again and again. Even though Keanu Reeves' acting is kind of horrible, like he's just so weird, but it's a good movie. And Speed 2 and 3, I don't know if there was 3, but like Speed 2 was like with a boat. It's really stupid. Really stupid.
I never saw it, but I heard it was bad, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not with Keanu, Speed 2. It's with Sandra Bullock, but like I forget the name of the other actor, and it's with a boat. Anyways.
Number 3.
Okay, so I'm at number 3, and it's Clerks, which you thought was going to be number 1 for me, and I could have put it at number 1, but there are better movies than Clerks. I mean, Clerks is amazing. Wow. Don't get me wrong, but there are 2 movies that are more worthy of being higher than Clerks on this list.
I'm in shock.
I know you said a lot about the movie.
Yeah.
But let me tell you a couple of things about this movie that you didn't mention. First of all, I think
you've seen it way more times than me. Like, yeah.
My favorite scene in the movie might be when they're playing street hockey. In the middle of like when they're supposed to be working, they're playing street hockey. Yeah. Like, how amazing is that? Okay, that's one thing. So, and then someone wrote a synopsis of the movie, and I read it and I thought it was perfect, and I just would like to read it to you. It's kind of short. So Dante's not having a good day. He works at a convenience store, and he has to come in on his off day, and he just hates his life because he reads in the newspaper that his ex-girlfriend is getting married, and his current girlfriend reveals that she has somewhat more experience with sex than he thought. His real only concern is that he's supposed to play street hockey later that afternoon and doesn't want to be late for the game, which I totally understand. And then he has a friend who works at the video store next door, and that guy hates his job just as much as Dante hates his. But there's more I want to tell you. The store where they shot the film, Kevin Smith actually worked there in real life.
I read that, yeah.
And so they could only shoot in that store like after it closed, after 11 p.m. And like, so they would shoot from 11 p.m. until 4 a.m. every day. And so because they were shooting at night and because they couldn't afford like proper lighting, it was always dark. And maybe that's why the movie is black and white.
That makes sense, yeah.
The other thing I found out. So Jason Reitman said that this film inspired him to become a filmmaker. And he told this to Kevin Smith. And then Kevin Smith says to him, "You're the son of Ivan Reitman. You grew up on the sets of Ghostbusters and Stripes. It took me to let you know that you wanted to be a director?"
Very good.
I just found that hilarious.
I love it. Good. All right. I can't wait to see what's ahead of Clerks. Wow. Big. So 3 for me is 4 Weddings and a Funeral. This is Hugh Grant and Andy McDowell, among others. It's a British cast, British movie. It's kind of like the first Hugh Grant film that anyone ever heard of. I think if you were in England, you may have seen him in other movies, but like for North America, this was like Hugh Grant's big thing. And it's the first of many films that Hugh Grant starred in that were written by the same screenwriter, Richard Curtis. They've collaborated on like tons of movies. And it's basically just follows the story of Hugh Grant's character and his circle of friends through like a number of different situations. It's all about the different romances between them, and it's like literally like 4 weddings and then finally a funeral. It cost under 3 million British pounds to make, and it grossed like 245 million. So like it was a huge success, and actually nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay and for Best Picture that year, even though it didn't win. And I think that I haven't seen this movie enough recently to like remember it really well. But when I saw that it was made in 1994, I was like, no, this is a movie that every time I see it, I really love it. I just think it's like the ultimate, like funny, romantic, heartwarming, charming. It's got like all the feelings, you know, it's like just a really good movie. And Hugh Grant is like him. It's like he's typical him, you know, like we've seen that Hugh Grant, the way he speaks, the way he acts in so many movies, but this is the first one, you know, so 4 weddings and a funeral.
Okay, so that's in my honorable mention. So the most we could have is 3 the same, right?
Okay.
If my math
Yeah.
is correct.
Number 2.
Reality Bites.
Oh my God. I forgot about it.
So this definitely has to be on my list. And this also maybe could have even been number 1. So it's basically about a bunch of friends who are just about to graduate and they have no idea what they're going to do after they graduate. And, you know, they're all like sort of depressed, I guess you could say. One of them works at the Gap and the other one wants to make music. And it stars, let me tell you who's in the movie. I should probably tell you that. Winona Ryder, Ethan Hawke, Janine Garofalo, Steve Zahn, Ben Stiller, Swoosie Kurtz, and Renee Zellweger.
It's a great cast and very, very good movie.
So before the filming began, Janine Garofalo was fired because Ben Stiller did not like her attitude during rehearsal. But then she was rehired because Winona Ryder stepped in on her behalf. Now, Garofalo later admitted that she has a really poor work ethic and hates to rehearse. I mean, if you're an actress, you got to rehearse.
But I feel like Janine Garofalo at that time was more of a comedian than an actress. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
But
do know
yeah,
what you mean.
Still, yeah.
So also, this movie also has a very good soundtrack. I should mention that too.
The soundtrack is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
So, I mean, that alone could have made it my number 1 movie of the year.
Okay, good. Very good. Good pick, Josh. I like that one. Number 2 for me is Pulp Fiction. So obviously, like at the time, and I still think now, most people consider it Tarantino's kind of best film. Although I disagree with that. It's got a massive ensemble cast. Travolta, Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Tim Roth. There's many. Like I can't even list all the actors and actresses in the movie because it's like the movie. I don't know if you remember. It's all these different stories told, like all these different stories being told, and then they all kind of intertwine and connect to each other. But like the beauty of the movie is like the stories are not even told in the right order, right? Like actually, the first thing you see is like one of the last things. You know, when Tim Roth gets on the table at the restaurant, it's like, this is a stick up, you know? So I just love this movie. I was going to say, like, most people think that it's Tarantino's best film. I think his best film is Inglourious Bastards. That's my favorite. I don't know if you've ever seen Inglourious Bastards.
I have,
think you
yes.
Really like
I didn't love it.
No?
No. My favorite movie of his is Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. I mean, Reservoir Dogs and this are, like, I think on par, you know, in a way. I just think this is a great movie. It's so rewatchable. There's so many great quotes. There's so many great scenes, you know, like Travolta in the car. Like everybody knows, like, what do you call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? This is Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. And he's like, it's called a Royale with cheese. Like this is something that's like in the pop culture now. You know what I mean? I've told this story many times, and I think Tarantino's movies have this effect. And I've told this story on the podcast, I think at least twice. When this came out in 94, I went to see it with a group of friends. I don't know if you were there. I imagine you were, but I don't know for a fact. Went to see it with a group of friends. The theater was packed. Like, it was incredibly full. And the movie ended, and a friend of ours' girlfriend got up, and she just looked at everybody. She's like, I hated that movie. And then literally 2 seconds before that, I told my girlfriend, my wife now, a girlfriend at the time, I said, I want to see that movie again right now. Like, I would pay to see that movie again right now. And then here's this person sitting 2 seats over saying that she hated it and she wanted to walk out. So, like, I think any kind of movie that makes you feel like that, like I think it's probably doing something right, you know? So that's Pulp Fiction.
So it didn't make my list. It was also in my honorable mentions.
Very good.
Number 1.
So I'm already at number 1.
Yes.
And you will be surprised only because you thought it was going to be Clerks. But when I tell you what it is, you might not be surprised. It's Shawshank Redemption. So this movie, remember we did an episode where, you know, movies that come on television and you'll watch them every single time they come on television. This is that movie, because this movie seems to be on TV like every week, I feel like.
It's on a lot.
Yeah. And it's just a phenomenal movie. Okay, so Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman are the lead actors in the movie, and what happens is Tim Robbins' character, he gets wrongfully accused of some murder, I think, and gets put in prison, and he shouldn't be there. And then actually the warden ends up finding out that, in fact, he didn't commit the murder, but leaves him in prison anyway. And Tim Robbins starts doing like the books for the prison.
And the guards and the warden and everybody.
Yeah, because he's a financial guy. He knows how to do all this stuff. And so he gets like some special privileges that most of the inmates don't get. And then he's just, I guess his name is Andy, right? In the movie. So Andy's just biding his time, and slowly but surely he starts like digging a little hole in the wall in his cell. And eventually the hole's big enough that he's able to escape. But he's got the hole hidden with a Marilyn Monroe poster. So anytime they come and do inspections in his cell, no one notices that he's even doing this. And the crumbs that come from all the digging, he puts them in his pocket and then slowly disperses of them in the yard when they're allowed to go outside. It's brilliant how everything gets done. Anyway, then, you know, because he has access to all the books, he knows the account numbers and everything. So he escapes in the middle of the night, and then he goes directly to a bank. He's probably already at the bank before they even notice that he's escaped. And then he makes a withdrawal because, again, it's his name and he knows the account numbers and everything. And then I think he leaves like a stack of an envelope with a bunch of papers in it and asks the banker to mail it. It's being mailed to the local newspaper to tell them exactly what goes on at this prison and everything.
All the fraud that they've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, then Andy ends up going, I don't know where, Zuataneo, I think it's called.
Yeah, in Mexico. He ends up in Mexico, yeah.
And he
leaves a stash for Red, Morgan Freeman, to find, and clues like near a tree somewhere, right?
Correct. And he sends him a postcard, but there's nothing other than Red's name. There's nothing on the postcard because he doesn't want to like let anyone know where he is or anything. Yeah. So anyway, just a great movie. And I didn't even know this part. So there's a scene where they're in the yard and they're like throwing a baseball around. So apparently it took him 9 hours to shoot that scene because the director insisted on many takes. And Morgan Freeman, he kept throwing the baseball for 9 hours. Next day he comes to work and his left arm is in a sling.
All right. So number 1 for me is Shawshank Redemption. I had a lot of things to say. You said a lot. I just want to make one correction on what you said. I don't think it was a Marilyn Monroe poster. I think it was Raquel Welch, but we can look that up.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
But like the thing is about that scene, like that is the most important scene in the movie. When they wake up in the morning, you don't know he's planning an escape. Like you've told the story now and it's clear. Like after you've watched it once, the surprise is ruined. Like you don't know that he's planning an escape. Like you have no clue. They wake up in the morning and he's just not in his cell. And the guards are confounded. They don't know what to do, that he's just not there. And then the warden comes and like everyone's freaking out. And then they realize he pulled down the poster and the hole is there. Like when he pulls down the poster and the hole is there, it's like, I remember the first time I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible, right? Like, and it's such a powerful scene in that, like, even when you know it's coming, it's still so incredible, right? And then of course he planned the whole thing because he put a suit, like an actual suit, and the warden's shoes that he stole into like a plastic bag along with all the papers that he needed for the bank. So like he comes to the bank all dressed up in a suit. He's got all the papers and like it's just incredible. Like the planning that went into his escape is like absolutely amazing. So not only is it number 1 on this list of movies from 1994, it's definitely in like my top 5 and probably maybe number 1 movie of ever. Like it's that good.
Awesome.
Right? Yeah. It's just like a great movie. So it was nominated for 7 Academy Awards in 95. Best Picture, Best Actor Morgan Freeman, Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Film Editing, Sound, and Original Score. It did not win any. Didn't win anything.
Unbelievable that it didn't win anything. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I mean, like obviously, like the most memorable scene is when he pulls down the poster, and the other one that which I described is when Red is sort of following the clues to the tree and the bushes to find the package that Andy left for him with a stack of money and more clues about where to go. And then of course he takes a bus to Texas, and then he crosses the border and he finds him in Mexico, and that's how the movie ends. It's absolutely incredible.
It really is the way that he left clues and Red was able to follow those clues.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. Because they had talked a lot when they were both in prison for years. So
Yeah.
they knew a lot about each other.
But like the thing is like when he's missing and the warden comes in and he's like, what happened to Andy? And Red is like, I have no idea. Like he didn't know. Like he didn't know that he's trying to escape, and they're getting mad at him. He's like, tell us where he is. He's like, dude, I have no clue. Like we all went in our cells and he's not here. What can I tell you? So yeah, it's such a really great movie. Anyways, so I mean, I would recommend everybody to see Shawshank Redemption if you haven't. I mean, I'm assuming most people have, but we just told me and my wife just told Matthew like within the last 2 weeks, because he's on like this movie kick where his friends where they have like movie night at least once a week where someone picks a movie, and I said, you got to watch this movie, Shawshank Redemption. You got to, So, honorable mentions. You have some?
Actually, yes, I do. You go first.
Forrest Gump, which I mean, I think it's a really good movie, but it just didn't make my list. The Lion King, really good animated. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and The Mask, if you want to have a Jim Carrey double feature. Quiz Show, which you mentioned. Mighty Ducks 2, I find it's thoroughly enjoyable. Clear and Present Danger, Reality Bites you mentioned, and a very underrated movie that I've been dying to try to watch again, and I can't find it anywhere streaming, called Backbeat. It's like a story of the Beatles before they were popular, but focusing on Stuart Sutcliffe, who was an original member of the Beatles before they made it big. So anyways, Backbeat's a really good movie if you find it anywhere. Okay.
So my honorable mentions, some of them you already mentioned, like Four Weddings and a Funeral and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump was on my list. The Paper, I believe Michael Keaton's in that.
Yeah, that's good.
And It Could Happen to You. That's the one with Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So
that's like with a lottery ticket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my honorable mentions.
Good ones.
Okay, we'll be right back after this with some final thoughts.
You're listening to Unscripted.
Hey everyone, Skip here. I'm really excited to invite all of you to follow my new account at Skip Cooks on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my love of cooking with recipes in the form of 1-minute music videos, all set to some of my favorite songs. Don't miss out, follow me, and let's have some fun in the kitchen.
Unscripted with Skip and Josh is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. To interact with the show, send an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitter and go to Facebook to like the show page. And now, some final thoughts from the guys.
I wanted to acknowledge the end of March Madness because we've been focusing on that the last few episodes, and I know it's a sad time for you, and you're shaking your head because you were very close to winning this big March Madness pool that we're in. You're pretty close, but Arizona let you down in the Final Four. There's something that's sort of bothering me. Like, okay, so as you know, Michigan won the Final Four. Michigan won the national championship. Something that really bothers me about, like, it's mostly TV. They always trot out the Fab Five when they talk about Michigan. You know, they interview them, they bring them out, they talk about it. Like, if you're not like such an aficionado of like the history of college basketball, you would think that the Fab Five were this amazing, unstoppable team, you know, and they went to one Final Four and they went to one final, which is a huge accomplishment, but they never won the national championship. And you know who did win the national championship? The 1988-89 Michigan Wolverines that they never mention when they talk about the other Michigan teams. Like, how come the 89 Michigan Wolverines, who actually won the national championship, are never, like, acknowledged? You know, like, and that bothers me. So I'm going to acknowledge them right now, just because I feel like it. So, like, players on that team that you know, Glenn Rice, Ramil Robinson, Sean Higgins, Loy Vaught, and Terry Mills. And they beat Seton Hall in overtime that year to win the national championship. So I just think it's weird that, like, they always talk about the Fab Five and not about the actual Michigan team that actually did win. So,
well, good for you for mentioning them. Thank you. I wanted to mention some shows that I started watching.
Let's hear it.
Well, this one I actually started and finished. It's called Toxic Town. Have you heard of this?
What the hell's that?
So you would like it because you know who's in this show? Amy Lou Wood from White Lotus.
Yeah,
And
British girl, yeah.
Rory Kinnear from The Diplomat are both in this show called Toxic Town. It's just one season.
What channel or network?
I'm
or
pretty
service is it
sure
on?
it's Netflix, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on my list of shows to watch. I now have two different lists. I have the shows that I've watched, and I have the shows that I want to watch.
So that's one. That one I'm done already. And the other shows, they're both on Crave, and I've started them, but I haven't finished them because I'm watching them 1 week at a time, and they haven't released all the episodes. So I have no choice but to wait. So both on Crave. One of them is called Rooster with Steve Carell.
I heard of that, yeah.
It's actually quite funny. I'm enjoying it.
I see the commercials for it. I mean, I think it looks all right, yeah.
And the other one, I have not seen any commercials for this show. I didn't hear a thing about it. And it stars Jason Bateman, who's a big star, so you'd think I would have heard something about it. And it's called DTF St. Louis.
I saw it on Crave, like in the scrolling when you scroll through the shows, and I was like, "What is this show? It's with Jason Bateman?"
Yes, it's with Jason Bateman. He plays a weather anchor. I don't know what you call them.
Is it good?
It's actually really good. Do you want me to tell you what it's about?
Does DTF mean what I think it means?
It means what you think it means.
Okay. No, don't tell me what it's about. I'll find it.
It's not a funny show, but let me just tell you one thing. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird that you almost say to yourself, I can't watch this. But then you really want to know what happens next, so you continue watching it.
Well, that's how I felt in Severance season 1. You know?
Okay, well, this is a different kind of weird,
Okay, I get you.
but I really like it.
So the one show that we're watching right now that I know you like, and you'll probably eventually watch it, is Shrinking season 3.
Right, I don't have an Apple subscription at the moment, but yes.
It is I can't believe how much I've been laughing at this show. It is so funny. Like, I was laughing so hard the other night. I couldn't catch my breath. I was like losing consciousness. I was laughing so hard I couldn't stop. And I don't know. I just find it very, very funny. It's really well done.
So that's impressive because, as you know, good shows, once they get to like their third season, sometimes even before they get to their third season, they start to get bad. Like, for example, I'm not going to watch Only Murders in the Building if there's another season of that.
No, me neither.
And I'm not going to watch, what's the one with Ted Danson?
Oh, Ted Danson is The Man on the Inside, and then the one that I was just going to say is the Rabbi Show with Kristen Bell and
Right, like those shows are no good anymore.
yeah, I agree.
And like they were good for one season and that's it. But Shrinking, I've seen season 1 and 2 and I like both of them, so we'll see.
Yeah. It's very similar to the others. I just find it really, really funny. Well, Shrinking, as you know, it's the same writers as some of the same writers as Ted Lasso. So, I mean, that tells you something, right? Like, like I think a show that's so incredibly well written, that is a reason why it's still good. And the same thing with Shrinking as in Ted Lasso. It's like, it's very positive. You know, we're so used to watching shows that are like, dark or getting us down or they're serious, but like this is like it's very positive. It's uplifting, you know? It's trying to show like the good side of people, that you can be positive and you can help people and like just do good in the world, you know? That's what it's about. So that's why I like it. And I think it's just really funny. The guy who's really anyways, we'll save it because we'll do an episode. I just think that's so funny. Great.
Excellent. I can't wait to watch it.
All right. So thanks for doing the movies of 1994. I'm glad we had some overlap. And I think the consensus is, for me, I think it was a better year than 84.
I would have to agree that 94 was better than 84. Then again, I saw those movies more recently, so who knows?
Yeah. I feel like 84 was a lot of nostalgia for us, but 94 was stronger movies. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you next time.
Have a great week.